That's quite the mission.
Isn't it? We have a very grand vision.
Tell me what motivated you to kind of come up with this and start.
Well, I'm a competitive athlete myself, and I also a baby boomer, so I have frequent minor injuries due to overtraining. And every time I'm in physical therapy, I'm surprised that it's not modernized yet, and there's no quantification of the actions and the data. So my technical team just came up with this way to make motion capture labs handleable, mobile in a tiny unit.
You've been testing this, it sounds like, at Children's Hospital, is that
They're
correct?
our development partner, yes.
So talk about the impact it's having on patients there and perhaps other patients in the future.
It's very huge impact. We're so excited about this because their mission is to try to treat as many patients as possible, but there's only 8 certified motion capture labs in the U.S. So we're trying to get our sensor to be equivalent and mobile and in every physical therapy clinic in the country.
So taking all those cameras, those big hunky cameras, and I've been in a lab like that before. I know how challenging it must be to get it down and shrink it. You've got the technology ready to go.
Well, we have these sets of sensors. The deal is they have fixed cameras, so the patients have to walk on a runway, and it's not a natural activity. We're trying to get it into everyday activities and a wider range of motion.
Got it.
And by wearing, for instance, 3 sensors on each leg, we can get much more data and bring it to patients across the country.
Fascinating. Let's turn it over to the judges. Brad, we'll begin with you.
Jennifer, this is really an impressive invention to take, as you said, where you have 8 labs. If I live in Kansas, I probably have to drive a long way to get to one of these things. So I really like what you're doing here in terms of something that can go national and international even to bring that treatment more local, which reduces healthcare costs. I really like that. But my question is, as an investor, I see in 5 years you're expecting you would hit 20,000 units per year of sales. And it seems to me there's maybe a bigger opportunity. How would you go? I'm asking you, is there a move into a consumer type application that would really drive your unit and your revenue substantially higher, where the return to an investor would be much better?
Absolutely. We are starting with this perfecting the hardware development and getting really solid data into the hands of therapists. But then, as you know, we're expanding into sports medicine, elite athletes, high schools, hospital monitoring. But yes, this is all business to business, B2B to start with for the first few years. But our future path, we would really like to partner with somebody like Under Armour or some sports medicine company that does want to take it to the consumers. We would gladly work out a licensing deal and expand our market exponentially that way.
Great, thank you.
Jennifer, I'd take my hat off to you. I think it's a great idea in a great space, and you've identified a really interesting niche. So I'm going to get to the bottom line. If I were interested in investing, would I be investing in QBLabs or its holding company, Global Tech Labs?
You would be investing in the subsidiary QBLabs. We created that to package it, to make it more desirable for acquisition. And the other reason we are maintaining Global Tech Labs, my parent company, separately, which I also founded and own most of, is that Global Tech Labs owns this very unique Apple MFI license. And MFI stands for Made for iPod, iPhone, and iPad. And that gives us the authority to use proprietary components like lightning connectors. And that gives us also the Apple stamp of high quality and approval. So that license is extremely valuable to us, and we would keep that and help us use all that expertise over the past few years to create a quality product quickly.
Jennifer, great concept, and it's really neat to see you putting this out into the market.
Thank you.
So, the question investors always want to know is how big is this market? So you've noted that the physical therapy market is $26.6 billion. So that's huge. And now you're doing the B2B segment with these professionals. And as Brad mentioned, you'll have 20,000 units that you're selling in year 5. What percentage of these therapists will you have reached when you hit that year 5?
We really are at the early stages of our pro forma and our projections. So the 20,000 is our best estimate. We know that there are 10,000 physical therapy clinics in the U.S. alone, and we're going way beyond that. We're not just doing physical therapy. By year 5, we want to be in sports medicine, elite athletes, and hospitals for patient monitoring. So 20,000 was a small chunk, and it was the best estimate we could get at this time.
So that 20,000, I'm sorry, that 20,000 includes not just the therapist, but some of those other markets as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good.
Great
Thank
job.
you.
Jennifer,
you.
congratulations to you, QBLabs.